Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. We are live. This is live at 5. Excited to be with you tonight. We're going to wait a few minutes for people to jump on because I know it kind of goes through their Facebook feed. We had a lot of people register for this. Tonight we're going to be talking about how to stop losing $95,000 a year. So I'm going to be talking about the dummy-proof AI fix before your competitor gets there first. So if you don't know me, I'm Cheryl Hasher. I'm founder of my own cleaning company, Made Bright, and this group, Sisters Who Scale, and this YouTube page. I scaled my own company from the ground up. I used to clean 6 days a week from over zero to over $850,000 organically without paid ads, without expensive SEO, or without a Google guru behind me. And my company just reached #1 on AI in my community. And that's why I wanted to do this training tonight. If you're jumping on for the first time, say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Sometimes we get a lot of people. It's a difficult month because people are on vacation and things like that. So this wasn't by accident. This was intentional and strategic, and I teach cleaning business owners how to do it each week on this channel. So if you're new, welcome. If you like what you hear and you're benefiting from my channel, I would love a little love. Hit that subscribe button so you get notified when I go live each week, and follow the journey because we are all in this together. So I help owners grow their revenue, hire their best employees, and step out of the field and into profits. Today we're going to talk about the $95,000 leak sitting in your business right now that you don't even know. Grab your coffee, grab your soda, grab your water, whatever it is. So you think your problem is marketing. You think if you just posted more, ran more ads, got more leads, you'd finally hit your number. But unfortunately, you're wrong. Your problem is that people aren't calling you. Your problem is what's happening after they call. So right now, while you're watching this, someone is calling your business and no one is picking up. And you don't even know what happened. You won't see it on a report. Okay, it won't show up in your bank account with a red flag on it. There's my cat. You can hear her. Hi, Fluffy. It just quietly disappears, and you go on thinking your marketing isn't working. But the truth is, your marketing is working. It got the phone to ring. But what happened after that is a part that no one is talking about. So I'm going to tell you about a true story owner. Let's call her Jen, okay? Half of you are going to recognize yourself in her in about 30 seconds. Jen runs a residential cleaning company. She has a great reputation, decent reviews, been in business 6 years. She is exactly the kind of owner who tells herself she's doing fine because she's busy. Booked out 2 weeks, team's working, calendar's full. One afternoon, Jen is on a job, elbow deep in someone's shower because she's still cleaning. Her phone buzzes in her back pocket. She glances at it between rinsing the tile and everything. It's an unknown number, and she thinks, I'll call them back tonight. So she finishes what she's doing. She drives to the next job, and that night she remembers, calls the number back, no answer, leaves a voicemail, never hears from them again. That's it. That's the whole story. No dramatic mistake. No bad customer service, just a woman doing her job, being good at her job, and losing a client because her business didn't have a system, that it didn't depend on her remembering something at 10 o'clock at night when she's exhausted and doesn't feel like texting anyone back, nor should you text anyone back at 10 o'clock at night, right? Now, multiply that by every call Jen missed that month. Everyone she was too busy to catch. Everyone that went to voicemail because she was underneath the sink, behind a desk, the vacuum on her back. Jen didn't have a marketing problem. She had a we're too busy working in the business problem. That's the problem she had. And I would bet real money that at least half of you watching this have your own version of Jen's story sitting in your call log right now, and you never once went back to look at it. So the part of Jen's story is most that the owners don't hear about. 2 weeks later, she was venting to another one of her friends about how slow her leads felt that month. Her friend asked her a simple question. How many calls did you actually miss? Jen didn't know. She had never checked because she was too busy running the business. So her friend made her sit down and pull the log right there on the spot. 14 missed calls in 30 days. 14. Jen sat there staring at her phone. She was repeating this story to me. And she's staring at her phone and she's doing the math in her head. And she told her friend later, for the first time in 6 years of running the business, she felt sick to her stomach because she couldn't control what happened, right? It was her own system or lack of having a system. 14 chances to grow her business and every single one of them slipped through because no one was there to catch her. So that was the moment that everything changed for her. Not because someone sold her a piece of software to fix it, because she finally looked at the actual number instead of guessing at it and assumed it was fine. So in this training, I'm going to give you the exact numbers on what missed calls and what manual admin are costing you every single year, okay? Why this is happening to almost every single cleaning business owner right now, whether they know it or not. And I'm going to give you 3 things you can do today, not eventually, so you're not the owner that gets left out, okay? I'm going to give you 3 steps that you can actually do. So you're not going to get a tech tutorial. You're not going to get a list of apps to download. What you're going to get is the truth about where your money is actually going and what to do about it starting tonight, okay? Say hi. Come say hi to me. Who's on? I know people keep kind of flipping back and forth. So, okay, let's start with what's actually happening in this industry right now, because most of you have no idea how fast the ground is shifting under your feet. The cleaning industry is not shrinking by any means. It is actually growing. The global cleaning service market is sitting in North America, $400 billion this year. Demand is up. 58% of cleaning business owners say customer demand increased this year. I've seen it. 73% expect revenue to grow, and 21% are expecting significant growth, not just little bumps. So if demand is up, if the phones are supposedly ringing more than ever, then why do so many of you feel more stuck than ever? Why does it feel like you're working harder for the same number? Because the business pulling ahead right now, the businesses that are pulling ahead, they're not working harder, okay? They're the ones that stop doing everything by hand. AI is here, ladies and gentlemen, and if you don't jump on the bandwagon, you're going to be left out, okay? Why? Because it's going to help you with the busy work. It's going to help you with the scheduling, with the follow-ups, the quotes, the systems that work while you sleep. So this is not a 5-year trend that you can afford to wait out and figure out, in another year. This is happening right now, okay? In your market, possibly to the company 2 towns over from you that used to be smaller than you and isn't smaller anymore. So technology adoption in this industry has roughly doubled in the last few years. More than 2/3 of cleaning companies use some form of business software or multiple. You should see our tech stack. You should see what we use. We try and keep it as simple as possible, but we still have a tech stack, right? That number was a fraction of that not long ago. And this is not early adopter territory anymore. This is the middle of the pack. And if you're not in it, you're already behind. So here's the number nobody wants to say out loud. The average cleaning business owner, ready for this, spends 10 to 15 hours a week on admin, estimates, invoices, chasing payments, scheduling, following up with people who never called and never heard back. 10 to 15 hours a week is a lot of hours. That's not a slow afternoon here or there. That's a part-time job worth of hours every single week going towards tasks that have nothing to do with growing your business, nothing to do with your clients getting a better experience, nothing to do with any of that, and nothing to do with making you more money. So here's the part that's going to scare you. 35% of calls to cleaning business owners go unanswered during work hours. 35%, ladies and gentlemen, go unanswered during working hours. That is a lot. That is not after hours. That is 9 to 5, 8 to 4, whatever. Not on a Sunday when you're closed. During the hours you're supposed to be open for business. More than 1/3 of people trying to give you money can't even get through to a human being. They're trying to give you money and they can't even find you. Okay, so let's do the math together out loud because I want you to hear this number instead of skimming past it. At a 60% booking rate and a $200 average job, missed calls alone can run a business like yours and like mine over $32,000 a year. That's just the one-time jobs. That's just the one-time deep cleans. That doesn't even touch reoccurring revenue. Now, think about the client who wanted biweekly service, not a one-time clean, a standing appointment every other week forever, as long as you keep showing up and doing a good job. That's our bread and butter in this industry. That single client is worth roughly $5,000 to $7,000 a year. That's one missed call because you were cleaning, right? That's one person. Now stack all of that together, right? The industry research puts the real total between $8,000 and $250,000 a year in lost revenue, because that's only one person. What if you had 10 of those? If you had 10 of those bi-weekly clients and you missed 10 of those, that's 90 grand right there, not including the deep cleans. I was being conservative in my $95,000, okay? So that's the low end. That's not a marketing problem. That's not the leads aren't good enough problem. You didn't lose the client because your ad was never reached. You never picked up the phone. And let's stretch that number out further, because a single year doesn't tell the whole story. If you're losing even on the low end of that range, $80,000 a year, and you let that continue for 3 years without fixing it, you're looking at $250,000. That is a substantial amount of money. And that's not because the demand wasn't there, not because your team wasn't skilled, because a phone rang and no one was free to answer it over and over quietly for 3 years. Think about what $240,000 would actually do for you. A second crew fully staffed and paid for a year. A down payment on a building instead of renting. The gap between where your business is right now and the number you told yourself if you hit by now, okay? That money isn't gone because it never existed. It's gone because it did exist. It showed up as a ringing phone and you didn't answer it, okay? That sucks. That sucks. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Tamara. How are you? So why is this happening? And it's not just happening to some people. It's happening to a lot of people, okay? Because you were trained probably by this exact industry to believe that being busy means being successful. You wear I'm slammed like a badge of honor, like we all do. You post about being booked out like it's a trophy. You think if your phone is ringing off the hook and you're covered in cleaning solution by 9 in the morning, that means you're winning. You're not winning. You are bottlenecked. You cannot grow at that point. So all of us, when you start, you're the front desk, the scheduler, the biller, the cleaner, all at once. And every single one of those roles is competing for the same 24 hours in your day. Something has to give. And right now what's losing is the phone call that no one is answering, and the client who couldn't get in touch with you, so they called your competitor. So the uncomfortable part of all of this, and the part that connects everything that I teach you, labor isn't getting easier, and it isn't going to get easier. Turnover in this industry runs 200 to 400% a year. That's another training for another day. Okay, that's high. That's 10 to 15 times higher than regular service industry or any blue collar in this country. So you cannot hire your way out of this problem. So the ones that are winning in 2026 are not the ones with the most staff. They're not the ones grinding the hardest. They are the ones who made every hour of every person, including their own, do more work without the adding more bodies to the payroll, right? So this is the same conversation we've had before about hiring being a leadership problem, about undercharging, about something you trained your clients to expect, about being stuck in the field, right? This is the same conversation wearing a different hat. The hat this time is a missed phone call. The lesson underneath is identical. If your business only runs when you personally show up to run it, you don't own a business, you own a very demanding job. And I know some of you have felt that. I know Tamara's felt it. I know Kimberly has felt it, right? I know Brenda has felt it. I know you've all felt it. So think about this You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to tell it like it is. So 30% of independent cleaning operators have already adopted AI powered tools this year. 30%. Not next year. Not ChatGPT search. That's easy. Okay? Not someday when they get around to it. This year, right now, while you were deciding whether or not this topic even applied to you, which it does, all the topics apply to you, nearly a third of your competition already decided it applied to them. So they're already ahead of you. So somewhere in your market, right now, there's an owner who used to be exactly where you are, okay? Overwhelmed, trying to answer phones, do jobs. I remember I was in this position at one point, losing clients she never knew that even called, right? They looked like missed calls because no one left a voicemail. And at some point, she made one decision that you haven't made yet, that other owner, and she's not smarter than you. I want to be specifically clear about that because I know some of you are hearing this right now and you're already telling yourself a story about how she must have more money, more time, a better team. I don't want to hear it. She's not working harder than you either. She just stopped believing that doing everything herself was the same thing as building a business, and she made a change before she had to. So every month you wait is a month where the gap gets wider, okay? Not because the technology changed dramatically in that time, because another month of compounding average, another month of every call answered, every lead follow-up, every estimate sent, right? Within days, and you got another month of some 10 to 15 hours of stupid admin work buried in there, the same missed calls quietly disappearing. I'll get to it tonight. That turns into never. So that is not a someday decision. And I need you to hear this instead of nodding your head and closing this video. This is a right now decision because you're a competitor. They're already doing it. They're not waiting for you to catch up. They want to get ahead of you. So this is the part that should unsettle you. Her customers are starting to notice the difference. And they're going to start comparing you to her, whether you ask for that comparison or not. So when someone calls you and gets a voicemail and then calls her and gets an immediate professional response, even if it's AI, okay, because the AIs are now answering the phone calls, they're not going to think, well, the other place is probably just as good, they were busy. You're out of sight, out of mind at that point. They're going to think you don't have your act together. I hate to say that, but that's what they're going to think, right? That perception spreads, and it shows up in reviews. It shows up in referrals that never happen because no one refers a friend to a business that took 2 days to call them back. That's just the reality. You have to be on this. I am on my request for service the same day, sometimes within hours. Today, 1 hour, and I reached out to them. You can't beat someone that does that, okay? That is who is going to win. So picture this side by side because I want you to really understand this instead of just floating past this general idea. A homeowner comparing two companies, because they always compare 2 to 3 in the same town. She calls the first one, it rings twice, and someone picks up, even if it's an AI. Maybe they're quoting over the phone. Maybe they set up an estimate. My process is all you know if you've worked with me and dropped them off. And Sisters Elite is that I recommend you do in-person estimates so you can make a connection with the client and you have a higher closing rate, okay? So I would make an estimate, book right away, into an appointment, text reminder set, bam, done, all set, right? That's the first process. Now that person calls the second one. It rings 6 times. Doesn't even go to a voicemail, right? No one calls her back until the next afternoon, by which point she already booked with the first company. I know that stings and it hurts, and I know you've all felt that. That's why I did this training tonight. So the homeowner isn't choosing based on who does better work, because you could be equal, you could be even better. She has no idea who's the better company yet. She's choosing based on who showed up when she needed them in that exact moment. That is the only information that potential client has to go on. And every single day that scenario is playing out in your market. And right now, you don't know which company you are in that story, right? It's making sense? And I hate to be like that, but you know I always like to tell you the truth. Hi, Christina. How are you? So before I give you the 3 things, let's deal with the excuses running through your head right now because I already know what they are. I've heard every one of them. Or most of them, anyways, and drop them off. So Here's excuse number one. My clients like the personal touch. They want to talk to me, not a system. Your clients want their calls answered, even if it's with an AI voicemail. That's it. That's all they want. No one's ever left a 5-star review because they enjoyed leaving a voicemail. The personal touch you're proud of is not the thing keeping your business alive. Answering the phone is. Okay? Excuse number two. I don't have the budget for that right now. You don't have the budget to miss out on $100,000? Really? Because I do. I have that budget, right? You don't have that? The question was never whether it's going to cost you money. Everything's going to cost you money. It already does. The only question is whether you keep paying for the problem or pay for the solution, right? To retain all that money. Excuse number three. I'm too busy to even look into this. I get that. I was that. I know. I also just showed you that being too busy is the actual reason that the calls are missed in the first place. Being too busy, fix the thing that's making you too busy, is the exact trap that I need you to see. Excuse number four. This feels like it's for bigger companies, not me. How many of you have said that, right? Who has said that? This feels like it's for bigger companies and not me. 30% of independent operators have already adopted this. They're independent. They're not big enterprises or franchises. Independent operators just like you, in business, the same size as yours or smaller, they've already made this decision, okay? This was never a big company conversation. It became a small company conversation a while ago, and most company owners just haven't caught up yet. That's what I'm here for. So if you have heard yourself in any of these, that's not a coincidence. It's not an accident. That's real stuff. Those are the exact stories that keep good owners stuck at the same revenue number for years while their competitors quietly pull ahead. So here are the 3 things I want you to do today. Okay, the 3 things I want you to do today. If we have Chris, Christina says I am using AI to develop my employee onboarding and training process. It's a game changer. Yes, it is. You can use AI for a lot of things. You just want to use it. You just want to use it smart, correct, right? You don't want to sound like everyone else, which I see in content writing. I see that all the time. Okay, 3 things to do if you want to write these down. This isn't a tech tutorial. I'm not going to tell you which app to download or how to set up anything. There's so many things out there. I'm going to hand you 3 things you can actually do before you turn this off tonight. Number 1, and these are very basic things. Number 1, I want you to pull your call log right now and count the damage. Find out how many calls, how many people called that was left undone, right? Open your phone system, your CRM, however you track your calls, and count how many calls went unanswered in the last 7 days. Count them. Just count them. That's all I want you to do. Take that number and multiply it by $200 for an average job. All right, $200 for an average job, then multiply by 60% for a realistic booking rate. That's not even the 70 to 80 that I like to get all the people that I coach to. I'm going to water it down and say 60%. So don't round that number down in your head to make you feel better. Pull the actual log, multiply that $200 number, and then times it 60%. Okay? Number 2. That was number 1. Number 2. Write down every task you did last week that wasn't cleaning a house or talking to a client. I want the busy work. Write down your busy work so that you can see the non-result producing activities you did last week. The ones that are not making you money. That is very important. Grab a piece of paper, maybe now, maybe tonight, tomorrow, over the weekend, whatever, and list every invoice you typed, every estimate you built, every scheduling text it sent you, every let me check and get back to you, okay, from the last 7 days. Add up all those hours next to each one. That list is your realistic job description. The one no one wrote for you when you started this business that you had no idea what it was going to cost you, okay? Most of you have never actually seen it laid out on paper in front of you. That's why I'm making you do it. And number 3, ask 5 past clients 1 question before the week is over. Text or call 5 people who have used your service and ask them directly, or maybe current clients too. ask them this: was there ever a time you tried to reach us and it took too long to hear back? This is raw. Okay? This is you getting the answers. 5 direct conversations this week. See what they tell you, whether they confirm everything I just walked through, or it will hand you the exact spot where you're bleeding and you didn't know it, straight from people it happened to. So do all of these 3 things before the weekend, okay? See if you can do all those things before the weekend. So you're not losing clients because your marketing isn't good enough. You're losing money because you build a business that depends entirely on you being available every single second. And you're not available every single second, nor should you be. No one is. No one was ever supposed to be. The business winning this year are not the ones with the best cleaners or the prettiest logos or the biggest ad budget. They are the ones who stop letting money walk out the door, disguised as a missed call, a forgotten follow-up, which happens all the time, an estimate that sat in a notebook that you forgot to send for 3 days. I'm not telling you this stuff to scare you, right? I'm telling you because I would rather you hear it from me in a training on Wednesday than find out 6 months from now when your competitors' Google reviews start saying they answered the phone right away. They felt so professional. And yours don't say that, okay? Think about Jen for a second from the beginning of the training. They said she had 14 missed calls in 30 days sitting on her phone. She never bothered to check. That number was always there. It didn't get created the day her friend made her look at it. It existed the whole time. Quietly, Jen told herself her business was fine because she thought she was busy. Your number exists too, right now, whether you looked at it tonight or not. The only choice in front of you is whether or not you find out on your own terms tonight or over the weekend with that piece of paper, with that call log, or whether you find out a year from now when your competitor is already blown by you. Okay? I don't want that to happen to you. Okay? Your competitor doesn't know anything you don't know. She just stopped guessing and she started counting. So pull that log of how many missed calls, write that list, make those calls to the clients or the past clients, not eventually, get it done, and I'll see you next week. All right? I hope this was helpful for you. I hope this was helpful. Kimberly says, I know I do. Spend 15 hours in admin. Of course you do, right? We spend more time on admin than any of us care to admit, right? And I hope this is helpful. I have some exciting new things coming very, very soon. There is a brand new training series on the YouTube page. You're going to see the thumbnails are all black. They're going to be coming soon. They are very rip the band-aid off trainings like I like to do. And they're going to give you some insight into things in the industry that may or may not be, or may be being promoted as helpful, but may or may not be. So check that out. If you haven't hit subscribe, show me some love. Hit the subscribe button so you get notified every time I go live. And I will see you next week. All right. Bye.